The action Souls-like genre is seeing a new wave of upcoming games focused on tough combat and dark, detailed worlds. These titles aim to deliver intense fights, careful progression, and gameplay that rewards patience and skill. Let's get into it! Lords of the Fallen 2 is a dark fantasy action RPG set centuries after the previous game, where a new Lampbearer faces the spread of the Umbral Calamity across 7 distinct biomes. Dual realm mechanics allow active shifts into the realm of the dead to uncover paths and interact with enemies. Combat is faster with weightier attacks, a dedicated jump, new weapons like scythes, execution moves, and full co-op with shared progression. Mortal Shell 2 is a standalone action RPG where players control the Harbinger, a being tasked with reclaiming stolen ova from powerful enemies. Core gameplay revolves around possessing fallen warrior shells to gain unique abilities and adapt combat styles. The system removes stamina limits to allow constant pressure through posture breaking and critical strikes. A compact interconnected map featuring over 60 dungeons, varied weapons, upgrades, and hidden paths across dangerous landscapes.
Void of meaning. It is endless.
That's why she made you. To tread the unfound path. This foul passenger, he's the poison in your mother's heart. You must become the cure.
Who goes there? Oh, you look familiar. Can you aid me? I've been waylaid. Leave me. It's my companion. A feline. He's gone. That's it. Will you look for him? It's an endless pursuit. I don't think I can go back to rousing commerce. If he's been harmed, I don't know what I'd do. Keep an eye out, please.
What's next, Harbinger? You know, once I thought I'd find the eggs, the ova, all on my own. But few remain, and even fewer are unguarded. You've come far. Look. You're nervous? You'll get used to it. Now go.
I'll be purged.
Bless.
Blight Survival is a PvE action horror game set in a medieval war zone where players take the role of Rithens, tasked with destroying a spreading infection that turns humans into monsters. Gameplay supports solo or 4-player co-op with directional melee combat that balances accessibility and skill depth. Systems inspired by extraction and roguelite design add risk-based decisions. Customizable weapons, armor, and abilities are used to face both human enemies and infected creatures.
Mats, Ash, and the team, thank you. Hitting 1.5 million wishlists is a massive milestone. We're incredibly grateful for your support. We're taking the time to make sure that it pays off when the moment comes to put Blight in your hands. When we teamed up with Behavior, we spent a lot of time digging into the original vision for Blight. It quickly became clear that if we wanted to truly do justice, we needed to take a step back and rebuild our core systems from the ground up.
We're designing Blight to be a brutal, visceral game. Combat is meant to be felt, from the first clash to the final deadly blow. These finishes are just one part of our immersive combat system that we can't wait to show you in the future. We've started ramping up on small-scale playtests, so for anyone who's interested in shaping the future of Blight, join us on Discord. Thank you from everyone here at the team at Blight, and we can't wait to see you soon.
Tsarevna Age of Tales is an action slasher set in a Slavic dark fantasy setting, where players control the swan Tsarevna, a warrior who returns from death to fight powerful enemies. Combat is built around ballet-inspired movement, with fluid combos, timed strikes, dodges, and dashes that link into style-based attacks. Weapons shift during fights between sword and ranged forms, alongside rhythm mechanics, tag team abilities, and encounters against folklore creatures and bosses.
I sense suffering here, Spirit. Do you need help?
Kena Scars of Kosmora is an action-adventure game where players control Kena, a spirit guide seeking a cure for her affliction on a corrupted island. Gameplay combines fast-paced combat with elemental abilities, and support from spirit companions that assist in battles, puzzle solving, and traversal. Progression involves upgrading these companions, unlocking new powers, restoring ancient temples, and facing increasingly challenging enemies and bosses tied to the island's hidden past.
Sealed as long as I can remember. Dangerous corruption was locked inside, along with the secrets of forgotten practice. Spirit guides here once used alchemy to cleanse corruption. Maybe you can do the same.
Fear will bind you, gripping to the present which must always pass. Regret will bind you, longing for the past you cannot change. Love will bind you, yearning for a future you will not see.
전하께 아뢰옵니다. 선천의 추묵이
Moosa Dirty Fate is set in 17th century Korea during famine and collapse, where players control Gun, a warrior driven by vengeance against demons and corrupt factions. Combat combines sword and bow use with large-scale battles, duels, and boss fights against creatures from Korean folklore. Progression involves uncovering the truth behind the Imugi through encounters, environmental details, and character interactions across varied regions.
나라의 기둥이 무너지고 있사옵니다, 전하. 게다가 삼남 지방에는 정체를 알 수 없는 무리들이 출몰하여 고을을 불태우고 백성들과 관리들을 무참히 도륙하고 있사옵니다. 바라옵건대 전하, 부디 백성들을 구하여 주소서.
Decrepit is a first-person game set in a forsaken castle where each death resets the player to a new cell and removes all gear. Progress relies on learning enemy patterns, layouts, and shortcuts that remain unlocked between attempts. Combat uses stamina-based melee and magic with precise timing and positioning, alongside a gear system with limited slots that defines playstyle, encouraging adaptation through looted equipment and repeated runs toward challenging bosses. Armatus is a third-person roguelite shooter set in the ruined city of Paris overrun by demons, where players control a supernatural warrior using firearms and celestial powers to fight through hostile zones in search of the Sunless Gate. Gameplay revolves around repeated runs that build knowledge and strength after each death, evolving abilities, weapon choices, and upgrades that shape combat style against increasingly difficult enemies and changing environments.
Even the crows refuse to feed.
Valor Mortis is a first-person Souls-like set in an alternate 19th century Europe where players control William, a fallen soldier revived with plague-based powers. Gameplay revolves around parries, dodges, and finishers using different weapons combined with supernatural abilities that evolve after each death. Progression involves navigating corrupted battlefields, fighting plague-driven enemies, improving mobility, and uncovering details behind the spreading disease and the character's resurrection.
What horror has been unleashed on these lands? Some escape in daydreaming, some in madness. What madness has taken hold here? Am I dreaming this hellish nightmare?
Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Capcom proudly presents the latest all-new entry.
Onimusha Way of the Sword is set in Edo-era Kyoto, where a samurai uses the Oni Gauntlet, a mystical weapon that grants the power to defeat Genma. Gameplay centers on intense sword combat against underworld creatures across dangerous battlefields affected by a spreading malice. Progression unfolds through stage-based encounters, enemy fights, and narrative moments that reveal the samurai's purpose and the outcome of his path.
The protagonist, a lone samurai, Miyamoto Musashi.
Let's see your best, then, eh?
Musashi set out on his journey with a simple goal: master the sword and stand peerless above all swordsmen. But the Genma had other plans. Musashi is struck down, but finds himself revived with an Oni Gauntlet on his arm. Now, Musashi has a new goal: rise up against the monstrous Genma ravaging the land, and carve himself a new fate. But his path is not a lonesome one. A vibrant cast of allies awaits.
Musashi!
And his old rival, Sasaki Ganryu, stands firmly in his way. With blade in hand and fate in the balance, will Musashi's bloody battles against formidable foes deliver him hope or despair? Kyoto's history is abound with many strange tales and unsettling mysteries. And you can experience strands of these hidden legends woven throughout the story. Feel the ring of steel on steel, intense duels. Reduce enemies to pieces with a devastating Isen. Parry and deflect attacks with well-timed blocks to turn the tide of battle in your favor. And, of course, absorb souls with the Oni Gauntlet to recover health or ready powerful abilities. Moving from one bloody and desperate battle to the next, Musashi searches for his reason to fight. What answers will he find at the end of his blade? Miyamoto Musashi walks the perilous path of the Onimusha. And on it, a new legend will be forged.
100年ごとに討伐を繰り返すも蘇り、決して死なず。
Beast of Reincarnation is set in a post-apocalyptic Japan where players control Emma and her companion Ku, combining direct sword combat with command-based actions in a hybrid system that mixes real-time and turn-based mechanics. Progression involves customizing abilities through skill trees, gear, and spirit stones. Gameplay centers on coordinated attacks, boss fights, and collecting powers from defeated enemies across shifting environments affected by a spreading blight. Project Windless is set in a fantasy world inspired by The Bird That Drinks Tears, where players control a Recon warrior navigating a war-torn land shaped by multiple races and conflicts. Gameplay combines large-scale battles against massive enemy groups with free roaming and minimal guidance through a no-marker system. Progression involves shaping outcomes through player choices, alliances, and interactions across a world built around lore and dynamic encounters.
This world was never yours to keep. How dare you stand in the way of purity, little king?
Woochi the Wayfarer is set in a reimagined Joseon era where players control Joan Woochi, a magician who uses spells and melee combat to fight corruption and monsters drawn from Korean folklore. Gameplay centers on combining magical abilities with close-range attacks to handle different enemy types. Progression involves improving skills, facing increasingly dangerous threats, and navigating regions influenced by traditional myths and supernatural forces.
기어코 여기까지. 참으로 정성이십니다.
Brutals don't just cause pain to those who fall in battle.
The Relic First Guardian is set in the ruined land of Arsiltis, where players take the role of a guardian using relics that carry memories and grant passive effects to shape combat and abilities. The system removes stamina use for attacks and relies on dodging and cooldown-based skills. Progression involves collecting unique weapons and armor, building custom playstyles through skill trees, and facing over 70 bosses with distinct mechanics and backstories.
Consumed by the void. Listen to their stories. Help them find what they need. Because you were the first guardian.
Black myth Zhong Kui is based on Chinese folklore where players control Zhong Kui, a figure known for capturing spirits while moving between hell and earth. Gameplay is designed as a single-player action role-playing system focused on combat against supernatural enemies. Progression is tied to encounters and abilities used to defeat various spirits. The setting draws from mythological elements connected to the character and the broader Black Myth series.
The world ended long ago.
Darkcraft is an online multiplayer game set in a dark fantasy world where players explore a large map filled with enemies, dungeons, and other players who can act as allies or rivals. Combat relies on timing, stamina, management, and reading opponents. Gameplay includes solo and co-op activities, PvP encounters, guild systems, and boss hunts. Dynamic events controlled by game masters can change situations and create unpredictable challenges.
Nameless warriors die so that legends may live. Silence breaks, and he awakens.
Long ago, you were made for this night. To save the age of...
Crimson Moon is set in the Gothic city of Gildenark, where players control a Nephilim fighting demons and vampires using melee combat and supernatural abilities. Gameplay supports solo or two-player co-op with mission-based structure and dynamically generated levels. Systems include skill upgrades through a war table, weapon customization, and a limited lives mechanic that allows revival during runs. Boss fights require precise timing and strategic use of abilities. A Whisper of Fall Jinyiwei is set in the late Ming Dynasty, where players act as an undercover agent within the Imperial Guard, balancing missions between official duties and black market ties. Gameplay combines martial arts combat, stealth movement like wall running and rooftop traversal, and a deduction system that allows predicting outcomes during investigations. Progression involves handling cases, interacting with factions, and making decisions that affect survival and unfolding events.
传递密信，最后一封缝在肚皮内，内容是：好一个明察秋毫。
可曾听闻千野之术？
站住！今天这儿被王府包了，不见外客。别动！别动！
追不上了。夜里的兵丁果然少了许多。
王爷有时就回府，咱们怎么还在这当值啊？哎，别乱说。大人，我家的令牌。有刺客，快来人！
未曾想到，当年跑船的脚夫，如今竟已如此。
还不止如此。
我多好啊！
一位子东西也敢抢，找死！爷爷成全你！纵横江湖这么多年，一个荒唐小儿也敢欺我！
走到这最后一步，还有谁可以帮你？
一定有办法。这个办法不在庙堂，在那些没人在意的地方，在那些几近无名之辈身上。相信会多人见日，找到答案。
Reblade, the Death Spiral, is set in a cyberpunk city, influenced by Chinese mythology where players control a synthetic trapped in repeated resets. Gameplay revolves around timing-based combat that requires reading enemy patterns and balancing offense and defense. Each run allows building different loadouts using weapons, chips, and augments. Progression is tied to learning encounters, improving builds, and uncovering details behind the ongoing cycle.
Having that nightmare with the terrifying monster.
Echoes of Aincrad is set in a floating castle where players create a custom character and fight through dangerous areas using real-time combat. Gameplay centers on building synergy with a chosen partner to combine abilities and improve battle efficiency. Progression involves leveling up, unlocking skills, upgrading weapons and gear, and completing quests across expanding regions filled with enemies, dungeons, and resources that support different playstyles.
We all need to work together and help each other get out of this nightmare.
Let's show them how well we work together!
We have to stand and fight.
After all, the stronger the enemy, the greater the challenge!
Heroes of Jin Yong is a wuxia game set in a martial arts world based on Jin Yong's novels, where players take the role of a character transported into this setting and must collect key texts while interacting with various fighters. Gameplay centers on learning different martial arts styles, using varied weapons, and improving skills through combat. Progression includes choosing moral paths, forming alliances or rivalries, and shaping outcomes through decisions and encounters.
Hey! 他西风射雕灵弓，双掌处立刻降龙，华山巅气势英雄，碧血丹心骄傲此生，谁是大英雄？ 忠肝义胆，挺身而出，与若必负风强必争，心系家国为苍生。雪山里侠客匆匆，一剑逐水与争锋，花剑龙逐鹿日冲，鸳鸯书剑侠侣英雄，我是大英雄。 看过客匆匆，我自无忌，醉我松剑，纵情一生，丹佛兵力最从容。华山之巅见硬汉，五岳水筑平江山，千秋霸业。 与谁战？不过人间一场梦。
讨将？那你是想试丐帮的打狗棒法，还是我桃花岛的绝学？
不忙小辈，竟敢扰我衡山清静！
和小辈交手多有顾忌，这就能用，那不合适。
身法尚可，可惜招式太过冒进。这回风落叶剑。 你可接得住？
如此，先试试这满天花雨去金针。
难得有后辈能逼我使出这云雾13式。哎，不错，皇主从哪儿找来你这么个小子？罢了，终究没能守住衡山这边的清静。
算性吧，此地并不适合布奇门遁甲。 如何？我这是软猬甲，乃桃花之质。不错，有几分靖哥哥的风采。
The Duskbloods is a multiplayer game where up to 8 players control blood-sworn, vampire-like characters with unique weapons and abilities, competing across maps in both PvP and PvE modes. Gameplay includes role-based objectives such as targeting rivals or protecting allies. It is supported by summoning companions and dynamic events that add enemies or tasks during matches. Progression involves earning rewards and victory points to customize characters and adjust their abilities, appearance, and roles.
A wheel. And transport him to a night of moonlight, to humanity's very dusk.
Close your eyes and contemplate now the moon, as befits the soon-to-depart.
I pray that you are able, carrier of blood.
Moon tears will flow for one, and one alone.
Project Tal is set in a fantasy world inspired by Korean folklore and Tal masks, where players engage in fast-paced melee combat using parries, dodges, and magical attacks. Gameplay includes climbing onto large monsters to strike weak points and handling varied enemy encounters. A companion system allows AI allies with distinct abilities to assist in battles, reacting to player actions and situations to support coordinated attacks and defensive strategies.
Phantom Blade Zero is based on Reblade, and in the game I made all by myself in like...
Phantom Blade Zero is set in a wuxia-inspired world where players control Soul, a warrior with limited time who fights assassins and investigates a conspiracy. Gameplay centers on fast martial arts combat using a wide range of weapons and interchangeable abilities called Phantom Edges to create different attack styles. Progression involves defeating enemies to gain new techniques, expanding weapon options, and adapting combat approaches against varied opponents.
Style, we call it Kung Fu Punk, in which we mix in our own Chinese culture and Chinese wuxia cultures with those cool elements from modern entertainment industry, such as steampunk, folklore, and also cosmic horror and such. In doing this, we're going to create something both authentic as well as universal. Our hero Soul was heavily wounded in the heart, so he has only 66 days left to live. With this very limited of time, he has to find a way to save himself, as well as finishing his revenge. But on the way, he found out there are some darkness that may destroy the world, and then he changed his priority from saving himself to save the world. But I would say it's neither soulslike nor hack and slash. We would love to create something in between, something with both the explorations and also fast-paced combat. Some players want accessibilities while the others want challenges. So we will have different difficulty options for both of them. And we want to make each difficulty options unique. The very good thing for PC gamers is they have different ways to experience the game. I think RTX and DLSS 4 are the main features that enhance our game a lot. As a small team, these technologies can get us the top level of graphics. The rain is one of our core environmental features. So having a convincing presentation of anything in the rain is important. And also we have a lot of surrealism scenes that needs to be done in a very unique way. So we count on ray tracing system for this. It's difficult to maintain the frame rate while you have a top-notch graphic. So DLSS 4 and other NVIDIA technologies support us to get a stable frame rate while getting the best graphic.
We had a deal, Seeker.
Kaidan is set in a dark fantasy version of Japan influenced by cosmic horror, where players take the role of a seeker tasked with hunting cord-bearers across dangerous regions. Gameplay supports solo and co-op play, with combat against yokai and bosses using melee weapons and abilities. Systems include managing multiple characters, preparing loadouts with limited supplies, upgrading gear, and balancing risk during missions where failure can lead to significant loss.
Lest you wash up again on my shores, your frail body shattered and broken.
La Divina Commedia is set in a dark fantasy version of Dante's world, where players control a warrior poet trapped in the underworld, descending through infernal layers while fighting demonic enemies. Gameplay centers on procedurally generated extraction dungeons that change each run. Systems include weapon classes, crafting gear, and aligning with the 7 deadly sins to alter abilities, encounters, and outcomes while attempting to escape with collected rewards.